Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk. Hi everybody, I am just coming on because this is a part 2 episode of a part 1. Like, we had a part 1 with Jordan and Bluebird Clay, and I just wanted to let you know that if you haven't heard the first part, you should go back and listen to the first part before you listen to this one. And maybe it'll make more sense. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But there are 2 parts. So anyway, have a fantastic listen. Okay, bye. Would you be willing to tell that story about the slip in the mixer?
Sure. Sure. We're approached by a company that does a lot of slip casting, and they're bringing a pretty neat product to market, and it's high production, and they didn't have a way to mix their slip that was completely consistent. They couldn't have any small bumps or inconsistencies with that slip because I don't know what the machine looked like, but they just said, these are our requirements. And I said, yes. And they said, we can't believe you said yes. Yes. Everybody said, no, that's not possible. And I was like, well, did they try? Like, no, they didn't even try. I was like, okay, well, sure, I'm here to help you, whatever. So I changed the auger, I changed the motor, and I put a speed control on it, kind of like our pottery wheel. So now the mixer can speed up, slow down. And they had sent me pallets of dry clay so I could mix their batches and see what it was. So um, I had mixed one small batch, but they wanted, and that they just sent me, there's a couple boxes of not a full batch, and then they sent me additional. And I'm getting ready for this conference call, and I'm on the conference call, and they want to see it mixing. I've got it all loaded and all the ingredients and everything in, and they're watching it. And they're like, well, show us how it dumps
Oh
while it's mixing.
gosh.
And we had, I think we had like 225 pounds of clay in our big mixer, and it's just rocking through it, and it's perfect, consistent. They can't believe it, and they're like, "Well, you can change the direction, or you can tilt it down to 45 degrees while it's mixing to just make sure everything's consistent." And I go, "Yeah, sure." So I'm holding the phone with one hand.
Oh gosh.
I release the bucket pivot, and the lid, I have the safety completely disabled so it can be, so they can see what's happening. And of course, we make it so people can't do that in the future. If the lid opens, it shuts off always. So I start tilting it down. It starts rolling, and there's 225 pounds of clay in it. And I dump this entire batch on the ground of my shop.
No.
And I'm like, these are upper management or owners, or I don't know who it is on the phone, but I'm just like, I can't believe it. And I dropped my phone, and my phone is completely covered with this whole
Oh
thing.
my god.
And I'm like, that's it. I'm done, And I think I screamed or something. And they're like, are you okay, Jordan? What happened? Oh my gosh. And, I had OtterBox on my phone. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. They're all waterproof. But anyways, I wiped the camera off, and I'm like, everything's okay. I showed him. I was like, man, we had a
Made a
snafu.
big mess.
Yeah. And it's like this bright red clay,
Oh.
200 and some pounds of clay on the ground. And what was important to them is the consistency. They wanted to see it. So that's what we were getting ready to do. And I was like, well, you're going to have to give me a minute. And luckily our floors are
Let's walk to
vacuum.
this side of the floor and then that side of the floor. How's it consistent?
Right. Exactly. So luckily luckily our floors were clean and swept and that day, and it was after hours, of course. So I grabbed a flat shovel and scooped it all back in the mixer and called him back a half an hour later. And I was, cleaned my phone off and all that, and acted like nothing ever happened. Just continued the conference call. So
Wow.
that was pretty wild. But we got one in their California location and one in their Berlin location, and that's
So you got the
that's what
job.
they got the job. Yep. So it was pretty fun.
So did you modify it so that the pouring it out is easier, or or like I was wondering if there'd be like funnel or something, not a funnel, but like an angled thing so it pours more concisely versus like a wide,
Sure.
because it's different with slip than clay.
Right. And it's they didn't give me that requirement. And this is like the timeline these people give me is like, we need you to modify this and it needs to ship within like a week. Can it ship within a
Oh,
week?
jeez.
And I'm like, and
Can
of
get
course,
this one that we
yeah,
just did.
yeah, like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it'll ship. So they didn't require that, and I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
make everything more difficult for me because it was already redesign, re-engineer the auger, recalculate all the force and stresses on the drivetrain and all that, and make sure it's within spec. So I had my hands full just to be ready for the first one, and um, sometimes I have to just bite my tongue because of course I've got all these ideas, and
Hmm.
hopefully um, I that's bit me more than once. Sure, do that, do that, do that. But we got to have the same time frame, so that's always hard.
Have you had others reach out about slip? Because I would guess like a slip casting table, it would kind of act like that, and then you'd probably need some kind of a way to pour it or use like a gun to kind of fill for slip casting. Like,
This is like full on industrial manufacturing, so I assume it's a big hopper that
mhm.
they're bringing into, and um,
Because I'm
so
kind of comparing it to like I think Kurt might have like a Laguna slip casting table. Usually they're lower and wider, and then but somehow it's hooked up to the slip so you can like use a kind of like a gas nozzle.
oh
But
sure, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and you just open it and it
Yeah.
goes in.
yeah,
I don't know. They didn't.
maybe
They
there's a
didn't.
market there for it in the future. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, it was. Um, they just gave me a requirements list, and that was kind of the my. I guess I had that was my main focus is just meeting their requirements, and
Hmm.
I was hoping to get out and tour their facility, which still might happen. It'd be fun to learn and see, if that's what they're using or how they're getting it into the molds.
Yeah.
Oh,
It sounds like they're trying to do thousands of pieces a day, so I think there's more automation than hand.
right.
Yeah. What kind of ideas do you have for like what's like the things that I mean you don't have to give any secrets away, but like what are the things that you would like to do in the like as you kind of like now you know a little bit more about the pottery industry and what people want, like, maybe a small pug mill and but like what he's laughing because I've been bugging him. But like what are the things that you would like to make for like that you're excited about, I guess?
Sure. So a couple things we have launched since that are new products that weren't new that I designed. We are making a wedging table. Our wedging table is kind of the foundation for a bunch of accessories. And our wedging table is the Jordan style again. It's way overbuilt. It's 3/16 plate where the other guys are using like 14 gauge. Um, we limit the amount of weight you can put on our table to 5,000 pounds. So
It's
it's
5,000 pounds, you know.
yeah. So our wedging table is the foundation for all these accessories. So um, uh, we have our little 440 mount that bolts on one end. So that's one that's already offered right now. Um, Clay extruders could mount to it. Slab roller could mount to it. Shoot, there's all these accessories and furniture is kind of my target and kind of what we're going for right now. Of what all like bat holders and just if you want to really geek out on organization and if you have a small studio and like how do you be efficient, how do you organize, and how do you work in your area is kind of what I geek out on, and I love like having your workspace just like dialed for efficient working. So I think that's kind of a target we're after right now with the wedging table as the foundation for so many more options to come.
Wow. That's a little bit better engineered than the table you I got from you, Becca. Just a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Like two
I
by
don't
fours. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if yours can hold 5,000, but maybe, a few hundred. I don't know.
It's
right,
bowing right now. It's a little bowed.
And you
right.
got like the modification, like you can pour your own plaster or concrete in there too. Like that's a little different. I don't know if that's a standard or if that's typically you have to build it yourself to be able to do that if you wanted to.
Yep, there is one other company, and that's kind of there's other one other company making that style, and that was requested by us by a distributor. So that basin style allows the end user to pour plaster or concrete in there at their location. And a lot of universities still prefer to teach with a plaster wedging table. So we have that option. It was not much effort to give a basin top with the design. So much of what we have to think about in making stuff, and this kind of goes back to earlier, Becca, that we have to think about how the parts fit on material and how efficient it is how efficiently it uses that material. So if we wanted to change a material and we've got a request from somebody that says I need a table that's 36 by 36 inches, well, if you think about how metal comes, it's either a 4 foot wide piece or a 5 foot wide piece. If you compare the amount of metal that 3 foot by 3 foot table uses compared to a 4 foot by 4 foot, it's the same amount of metal, and there's a lot more scraps and waste. So so much of planning and building stuff is how efficient it uses materials, which is a lot of most people don't consider that in sizes that are offered. So that's a challenge with the development of products.
So how do you approach, because we've seen some of these products at NCECA. How are you kind of treating NCECA? I know 2023 was like, being over at the Queen City booth, but 2024 you were able to actually be there, and maybe you could talk about Clay Con West and kind of what that gave you a little taste of in 2024 before NCECA, and how you
Sure.
kind of approach those conferences.
Yeah, ClayCon was a ton of fun. I it was that January
Yeah,
ClayCon?
Yeah.
yeah, mid-January in St.
So
George, Utah.
I didn't even know about ClayCon. Like December 20th, I didn't know about ClayCon. Or it was like 2 weeks before ClayCon or a week. Everything was 2 weeks before ClayCon. I didn't even know about it. And I was like, yeah, let's go, not even thinking what it's going to take to be ready. So after 23 in Seeka, our first in Seeka, which we weren't prepared for, we had nothing. I mean, we didn't have a website, we didn't have business cards, we didn't have anything. So it was fun to go to ClayCon, and again, Joe with Welcome Arms. I mean, he was so great that I didn't meet I didn't meet the deadlines to sign up. I didn't meet like the requirements. And he's like, "Yeah, come on down. We'd love to have you." So that was so fun that he was willing to have us and really treat us like we definitely, didn't deserve to be that treated, I don't know, just welcome and not meet the deadlines and everything. So it was awesome again. And it was so cool to have our products all on display and have a banner and be really prepared to talk to people. So that was a good warm up for NCECA. And then NCECA was awesome too. We had a ton of equipment. We were prepared with literature, and our websites launched and all of that. So um we had great response with the wedging tables, and then we had our pottery stool. It's again overbuilt lifetime piece of equipment or a stool. It's not a Chinese made or Asian made. Just how cheap can we make it? It's what's it going to take to make it fully welded, powder coated to last a lifetime. And I think a lot of people kind of understood once they put their hands on it and pick it up and feel the table of kind of what we're about.
How does the what was I gonna, oh man, something just slipped my mind. Was there a presence of Bluebird or Soldner at previous conferences? Like, was that even part of like a marketing arm of the business at all, or was it kind of just kind of outside of that? Like that wasn't part of a way that
They
they connected with customers in the past?
early on, Paul was always there, and then Dave was there a lot as well too, as I understand it. Um, he hadn't been there, I think, for like 10 years to NCECA. So it was fun to have all the people come up and introduce themselves and just tell us that they're so glad to have us back. So it was kind of fun to to be known and
Reintroduction, sort of.
yeah, yeah. So that was a lot of fun to feel that love.
What kind of feedback did you get from the folks there at NCECA? Because it's a good cross section of students, but also like home potters. There's people in community studios. There's probably university folks. Like it's
Hmm.
it's all over teachers.
Sure. Yeah, there's two people. The two main types of people at NCECA are the people that come up that are telling us stories, that telling us about their Bluebird that they've had since 1975 or whatever, and they love it, and they say it's so nice to see you, Jordan, and instead of just talking to you on the phone. So it's like the people that know and love our products, and then the people that have never heard of us and don't know what a clay mixer is. So that's always fun too, and just just connecting with that many more people. So it just reiterated that we got to really step up a marketing game and just create a presence, an awareness of what we are and what we do.
Nice. Yeah, I would guess it's just so, and it's only was Aaron at NCECA as well? I would suspect so, but
No, no, he held the fort down at
okay,
the
okay.
yeah. I think
Cut.
Dave's wife was involved with Bluebird, and I think he might have brought her along,
Yeah.
possibly.
Who was with you this year?
Yeah, I brought my wife. Yeah,
Your wife,
Christy.
yeah.
Christy and I were there, and um, she loves it. She does great, and it's fun to have her, you know, there with me. I wish she could. She still has a full-time job, and she's getting her master's, so she's got plenty to do than to help
Hmm.
me out. So
So how do you all think through like the marketing? I know you all kind of rebranded as well, or maybe did like an official branding and making it like have this the certain look now. You talked about getting the website up. Like what goes into that, and how do you kind of think about that side of it.
Sure. It's, marketing, and that is not my specialty. There's definitely a method to the madness, the marketing madness. And um I, I have a few people that I'm kind of using as mentors to suggest and advise on that stuff. Um, so
Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in really quick to talk about the Smith Sharp Advancer kiln shelves because they're amazing and we love them dearly. So these are silicon carbide shelves that are magical and they resist glaze so that you don't have to grind your kiln shelves. And they have a cool thing called it's like a kiln magic eraser essentially, where you can just scoot it onto some glaze that may have dripped off your shelf and it just disappears. And they are an investment, but they are a very important thing, especially if you have a community studio or you've got beginner potters working with you, or you are a beginner potter and you know this is going to be your lifelong situation. It's just a great tool to have. And there's a lot of more info on kilnsharp.com, but they have their 8mm shelves, and then they also have the brand new ultra thins that are 4mm, which is insane. They're very small, they're very thin, but they don't even warp at pretty much at all. They're good for cone 10 kilns, they're good for soda kilns, they're good for electric kilns, and they've been in business for years and years and years. But I do feel like they're just kind of getting a little bit more popular in the ceramic world, so you should definitely go check them out. Me and Ryan both purchased them before they even talked to us, so we bought these before we even were sponsored by them. Many years before we were even sponsored by them. So yeah, check them out. Go to kilnshelf.com and look at them. And, if you need to save up some money, make it intentional and start saving for these shelves because they literally will change your life. All right, bye.
yeah, it's just kind of a fine line of how much we can put towards marketing and that whole bit. But the website's really generating a lot more interest and a lot more phone calls and a lot more sales. So right now we're just we don't want to grow so crazy fast that we can't keep up and quality would go down, or um I think everything is just working great, and the rate of growth is great. It's sustainable. We can keep up. We can grow with it naturally instead of have all these crazy growth spurts that are hard to keep everything as it is or what people expect. So I think everything's working. We just gotta um, work the plan.
So does, like, when somebody goes on there and they're gonna buy a pug mill, like, do you have some that are just ready to ship? Do you have to take that order and you're like, okay, this is what our plan is for the week because we got this order? I would suspect there's some lead time, so like there's a limitation. You said the warehouse is small and the machinery takes up a lot of space, I suspect. So, like, how do you handle like throughput and fulfilling orders when these machines are not just simple
Sure. And
machines?
that's one of the biggest complaints that I heard coming into this, is that the lead times and the wait times are so crazy that it turns a lot of people away. So one of my goals initially, and it always has been and it always will be, is to have more in inventory than we need. And it's been working great. So I just kind of we have we try to keep 5 mixers, 5 small mixers, 5 big mixers, 5 pug mills, 5 small, 5 medium, and we did like 3 medium, and 1 big on built ready to go. So what we can do is we can have it completely built, and then for the mixers, we would leave the motor off. So if the people are going to go single phase or 3 phase based on their power requirements. So that's been the goal, is to have everything on the shelf ready to go that we can ship within 24 hours. So
Wow.
yeah, that's been a challenge. Just keep maintaining inventory for parts and managing inventory and parts ordering, and a lot of these people, the manufacturers, when I first started, they were on the rules from when Dave started these relationships with these manufacturers, and they're like, when I told them it was Bluebird Clay, we were like, well, you got to play by like today's rules, and they're like, you have to order $100,000 of these parts annually from us.
Holy shit.
Oh, yes,
Jeez.
there's been a ton of trials and tribulations to even maintain inventory based on suppliers' requirements.
So is there overlap then with a lot of the, I mean, a lot of the metal overlaps, I would suspect, but it's
Yeah,
just
it's
what
like,
cuts you can make and what size pieces and
yeah, and that's all easy. It's like the gearboxes, the motor starters, the bearings, all those little components, the springs that are made custom for us, and the seals, and I mean there's hundreds of components, thousands of components that we just have file cabinets and parts drawers and all that full. So um yeah, there was a lot of begging and pleading to get better pricing and not go through distribution. Distribution is killing small business in this country because they want to make they want to make they want to make their margins just for distribution. So the distribution's buying it from the manufacturer, and then the manufacturer says, well, you're not buying $100,000 of parts from us, go to distribution. Well, distribution is going to take the price they pay from them, mark it up 30%, and then try to sell to me. How the heck does small business make any money? Because the end customer can, well, I got it on Amazon for what I'm paying for it. So that's kind of my beef with big business these days, is that it's killing small business because you're not worth their time. And that's, I think, for a guy, I don't have yeah, I can't order $100,000 of gear motors just because they want me to.
right. Because
What happens to
because at the end of
develop?
the day, who do you have to sell it to? And is your market and the demand big enough for your audience? Like, even
Yep.
if everybody had your clay mixer, how many clay mixers are there around? And if they hold their value, how do you sell somebody on a clay mixer when they've had one for 30 years and replace it?
Yep. Yep. So there's been plenty of hair loss and gray hairs created from just acquiring parts. But we got everything in place now, and we've got some new great relationships. Uh, where we've eliminated chains on all of our products, so everything's direct drive or going to be direct drive, which is a huge upgrade and update. So um,
Is
yeah,
is there a how much like backwards compatibility do you have to have with some of, because I would suspect there's a lot of older products like the Solners and clay mixers and all of that, and you're kind of like wanting to be in this new phase with some of these products you're making. How is it still easy? Is it still like a lot of the parts and materials are all the same? It's just the way you're putting them together, so you can still replace old parts, but you got to price it appropriately or
Yeah, it is challenging to keep some of the real old stuff because people call like late 70s, early 80s stuff, and it's been out of production forever and ever. And we do what we can. We have a lot of the common parts still available. And I will help people with motor starters and that sort of thing to kind of get them going. We do offer a consultation or a video chat to help people work through their problems on their old pugs that they don't have anybody to work with. So that's fun. It's a ton of fun trying to teach old potters or new potters to be basically you have to be a mechanic. You got to know electricity, and we're testing with meters and stuff. So it's a ton of fun when people set up these calls because um I'm basically teaching them like something that they know nothing about to try to diagnose these problems. So that's a ton of fun. But I got off on a tangent there. I can't even remember what you
It
asked.
was like backwards compatibility. Like how much do you have to make sure that either your parts are well, I mean, I guess it's easy when you're selling a brand new wheel because you know all of what went into it because you built it. But if some of these are really old and they're like, well, my something motor broke, like, do you have to just plug and play? Like, I would guess you might not use all the same motors these days. And how compatible are they with?
Our brushless stuff is, it's a different animal, but it's a lot more common, a lot more easier to get parts. So the new stuff is easy. It's all the old pug mills, that have 10 million miles on them, and that's the kind of stuff that we still help with. As far as moving forward, I'm not concerned with backward compatibility because um, if it's antiquated and why are we doing it this way? Well, that's the way we've always done it. I'm
Mhm.
I'm so
How do you have those conversations so it doesn't feel like they don't take away that you're trying to sell them something new or sorry, we can't help you?
yeah, we're not going to pull a Brent and have to sell you an entire wheel head to get two bearings. We're not going to do that. We're never going to do that. We never have done that. So we're just treating the way that they should be treated. If we're creating a new product that is not going to back them into corner for buying parts. It's still going to be available parts like they always have been, and kind of what we're known for. So, um, yeah, we're here to create new and better products that we'll still support and they can fix themselves. And we're still here to support, and if they need parts to fix the old stuff.
Nice. Beck, I want to give you a chance here. Make sure you're still with us.
Did you go to
I
sleep?
am.
Okay.
There.
No, did not go to sleep. I just like to be quiet so that you can talk.
Do you want to ask about this pug mill? Like, what's the story of this pug mill you've been asking about?
Yeah.
Like, what are you asking for, Becca?
Well,
What do you need, Ben? How can I help you?
I I no, I just think that a really tiny pug mill would be like a really tiny pug mill would
How
be
tiny?
like 5 pounds. Like if a Peter Pugger could hold 5 pounds, would would be ideal for like a studio potter. So it's not like giant, but like a meat grinder of a pug mill. Like or I don't
Beck,
know. I just also could we just use a meat grinder? Like is that an option? Like a stainless steel meat grinder? I mean, it's already food grade. Like I'm
Becca,
just thinking, yes.
the gear motor for the world's smallest pug mill gets here tomorrow.
Shut up.
Yep.
Oh my God. I'm so excited.
And
I'm
then Jordan's
so
got to add
stoked.
his over engineering to it, and then we'll see what he
And
comes up
it'll
with.
be $20,000.
All stainless.
Well, yeah, because I just think that there's there's so many people. that are have arthritis, like can't wedge clay, and would love a pug mill, but it doesn't make sense for something that is you're putting in 25 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds at a time, and or like consistently, because they're just making a couple pieces a day, and they want to just at the end of the day throw those pieces that maybe messed up into a tiny pugger and push it out like a log of sausage.
Yep. Yeah. So the goal is to have it. It's going to be all stainless construction. It's going to be the hopper size isn't going to be smaller than a 440 because
Okay.
we don't the target the hopper needs to still stay big. I mean, any
Yeah.
smaller is a pain. Um,
The
it's definitely
440
going.
is yeah, the says 400 pounds an hour, but it doesn't say how big the hopper is. But is that like 25-pound bag of clay ish?
Well, see, the thing with our pugs is it's continuous. So as you feed it in, it's coming out the other end.
Yeah. So it's
It's,
probably like 8 inches, right? It's an 8-inch hopper.
um, what is that? I think it's 6 by 6, 6 inches by 6 inches.
Okay. 6 inches by 6 inches. That's fair.
Yep. So the entrained clay, I would call that, is like how much clay is can be in the machine at one time, and that's probably 35 pounds,
In the
40 pounds.
440.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never scraped it out and weighed it, but the new one is going to be, there's some cool features. It's going to be variable speed, so you can extrude the smallest little extrusions that you want. Um, so that's a lot of fun, and
So that could be
it's gonna
beneficial for somebody doing like pugging handles, like a,
Handles.
yeah,
a die for handles or you know slat
hollow extrusion,
coils.
yeah, hollow extrusions that are thin, that the amount of clay coming out that die is so small, so it's a real thin wall. You would have to slow that down, so that's cool. It's gonna seal up, so you can leave it full of clay. So the hopper's completely sealed, the end's completely
Oh,
sealed.
yeah, it won't dry out.
Yeah, so that's a neat feature. And
So
what the tricky part about it is, it's like I still want to create equipment that is going to be running in 30 years from now. So it's going to be the smallest 100% duty cycle, meaning it's made to be used all day, every day pug mill. So it's probably not going to be as absolutely small and light as you want,
I'm
but
telling you, it's not gonna be a meat grinder. You jerk.
it's going
Yeah.
to be as small and light as I can make it, but still be use it all day, every day.
The people thank you.
That's the only way I can do it, is make it so it's going to last 30 years, 40 years,
Well,
50.
like, I don't know how light we're talking, but I remember getting my pug mill. I got a Pugger. I got a 25-pound Peter Pugger stainless steel. I remember getting it, and I'm like, why the heck is this so stinking heavy? You cannot move it. And I mean, I suppose that is a benefit at some point. Um, 'Cause it won't roll away from you while you're mixing clay in front of, corporate. But like the, but yeah, having something small enough that somebody could potentially pick it up would be nice.
Yep. And I think our 440 is like 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Um,
Yo, 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 popping on again because I want to let you know about the kilns, L&L kilns. We have, obviously, there's a few new things for L&L. There's the plug and fire kiln, and then also I wanted to talk to you guys about how they just updated all their videos on their websites, and it is an information spectacular, essentially. And so, yeah, you should head over there because they have videos on how to change your elements, and a bunch of different other things that you need just for basic kiln maintenance. And this is something that people ask me all the time. They're like, "Could you do videos on basic kiln maintenance?" Well, guess what? I don't have to, because you can just go over to L&L and look at them there. And those are the professionals, and they're just giving you all the good stuff. So head on over to hotkilns.com and check those out. They also have a bunch of paper, in text resources as well. And obviously their kilns are amazing. We all know this. So yeah, head over there, check that out. And while you're there, go look at the plug and fire kiln, because it's going to be amazing, and you can plug it in anywhere. And it's also life-changing, especially if you're a small potter and you live in an apartment and you maybe need to just fire a few things. So anyway, go to hotkilns.com. Okay, bye.
Yeah, it doesn't say in the description how many pounds it is, but
I mean, it's heavy. They're all heavy.
yeah.
They're all heavy.
And it's going to be a tabletop mounted deal. You know what else is cool about it? The entire thing, hose it down.
Oh yeah.
Nothing. You don't have to worry about getting anything wet, which is, I think, an industry first. I don't know. I've never seen any other ones labeled as take it to the car wash.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that also means you can use it in like the most humid of weather too. I think that is something, like, I would be worried about putting a pug mill outside, and this is the type of equipment I would imagine that you could stick it outside when it's 70% humidity and not have to worry about it.
Oh, absolutely. Stay in the rain. Yeah, in the rain.
Yeah.
100% humidity. Yeah.
And like that means that you don't have to put it inside, which means that you don't have to take up space inside, which is really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like maybe we should have a cover that's just to keep the sun, and sun is hard on. Maybe then that's a good point. I didn't even think about anybody keeping it outside. So maybe we have a cover, or people throw a tarp over it, or something. But
yeah.
Yeah, because space has been the main thing. I'm like, I don't really have a need for a pug mill, but I'm like, if I did, where would I put it? Because usually, like we said, it's so heavy, you're not really going to move it. So where is a dedicated spot that you can expect to be fairly messy or somewhat messy, and but not like, you have to overhaul this area to make it ready for pugging,
Yeah, 30 minutes to get this area ready to make a mess, and how do we clean it up and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying the 440 is
your porch.
Yeah, on your porch or out back or something.
Yeah.
Covered up. How you said the 440? I think you said it was aluminum cast. So right now, what it is aluminum, and then the step up would be stainless steel, I'm suspecting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that why is it aluminum right now? Is that just because of that's kind of what you're, without having to manufacture it completely yourself?
Yeah, it's a casting instead of a fabricated weldment, and the 440s sell so well that it really wasn't to have. There's not a stainless foundry in Colorado or in Fort Collins, so that was one of the things that wasn't on the immediate needed item. If it was, the 440s are selling well, and I don't have a immediate source for stainless casting. That's a tall order to go from to a new foundry and get all your patterns to a new foundry. It's like, do I take the patterns from the foundry here and move them to the stainless foundry? So it just wasn't.
Yeah, so taking like an aluminum cast at $4,200, 440 de-airing, like making that stainless would add a price tag, and also like the turnaround time and figuring that out as well would bump that up. And would they notice the difference, kind of thing?
Yeah, and absolutely you would. I mean, stainless is the best material choice for um, corrosive corrosive um, bodies, and and they're all corrode. Porcelain's going to corrode the fastest, and some clay bodies are more corrosive than others. So, um, yep, stainless is on the board, and um, what we have the capabilities. Our fabrication capabilities are um, definitely an advantage. I think that we have, that we can fabricate things really quickly, change things really quickly, and you'll
Mhm.
see a lot of fabricated equipment coming out of Bluebird shop. That's for sure.
Hmm. Is there like
And
a market?
fabricated means that it's a weldment of components. So um, laser cut components welded together becomes a weldment, and to create a pug mill from components is where we're efficient. Dealing with a foundry, foundries have, you got to get in the queue, and it takes, you're putting orders based on projections to be in line. So I would rather just make a plan for the week, and put them on the table or the jig, and make them as we need them.
Right.
And then
And then you just kind of send it off to get powder coated, or you do that in house and you can kind of like seal up the final pieces.
Sure, yeah, we're an industrial park, so we have relationships in the industrial park. So we got a guy that's our powder coat guy that's just a block or two away, and he's great to us again. And so we have partners for stuff that we don't do in house. So if there's something um, like powder coating, we can just drop that off, and he gets that done for us.
Nice. Yeah,
And
it sounds like you're
and
trying to stay as local as possible and reliable sources that you're not waiting for
yeah.
shipments for, overseas or wherever that make it
Yeah,
difficult.
shipping's crazy. Shipping's crazy, and it's all just taking away margin, because if if I had to go even 45 minutes away, now that's an hour and a half of time, or a lot of, everything's heavy. So shipping it, now I'm shipping it to the powder coater, shipping it back from the powder coater. So it just, I think it's just a efficiency as much as it is the goal of to keep it local.
Also, you can okay, this is quite potentially the coolest thing about you owning this company now is that you can make your wheel pug mill slash mixer any color you want. And it's like $200 more, which I would absolutely pay for. I
She's
I
excited
know,
about
so good.
that.
I would absolutely pay. Like you could make it pink. You could you can make whatever color you want.
Yeah, there's like 6,500 different color options right now that we you can go and pick, and you order, and
Gosh.
we've had a couple take us up on it. My son's wheel, we just did like this awesome purple color, and we've got a whole set of equipment going out east that's their special color. So it's a ton of fun. And I agree, Becca. I think it's so fun that if you have your own color, and your studio, your area has a certain feel to it because that's what you've created, and you want to keep it that way, why not? Why not
Yeah.
make it? Why not make it exactly how you want it?
Like who wouldn't want like a neon yellow mixer, or something like it's just so fun.
Yep, absolutely. And then you can name it. Everybody's got a name for their mixer, anyways. But your name can be tied into the color. It's so much fun, and color color invokes emotions, and yeah. I mean, why not? It's not just the vanilla mixer. It's whatever you want it to be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds stressful. Like, I don't know that I could pick one color for like this permanent. That's like a tattoo to me. It's like, I mean, ideally you're only going to buy this thing once, but
Sure.
I don't
You know
know.
what's wild is like pottery wheels are personal. I mean, that's like a personal item. It's how it makes you feel. Where pug mills and mixers aren't personal. It's a piece of equipment. So, um,
Yeah, you're
in
spending
that
hours with that pottery wheel. Yeah.
exactly, and I think that's why um, pottery wheels are tricky, and I think so many people are stuck in their lane because this is the wheel that I used in college, or this is the wheel, but not even giving us a chance. Because I think if you give us a chance, you'll understand what makes a Soldner and what care and attention to detail that we put into it to make it a lifelong wheel. So, um, yeah, I think so many people would love our products if they just gave us a chance because that we're not just mass produced, you know, I want to use descriptive words for other wheels, but I can't say that. So,
Yeah.
Mass produced in mustard yellow.
well, that I mean,
There's black now.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's black.
and even and even the white ones, it's just how cheap can we make them? There's no tour. I mean, it's just like if if you are not,
Well, I would suspect most of the market doesn't need to make anything more than 5 pounds of clay, generally.
yep.
Generally.
But
And if you're not demanding, if you're not a production potter, or if you are a production potter and you don't realize that there's so many things that you could be more efficient and produce more for your time invested. Um, you know,
Oh, here's an example. Here's an example. And I'll use my current Soldner wheel against the new Soldner wheel. Okay, or the new Bluebird wheel. Sorry. So as we know, I've done production, and my biggest complaint about my current Soldner P200 series wheel is that it stops unbelievably slow, right? Like, and for a normal person throwing, you would never notice. But for somebody like me, where I need it to stop a little bit faster, I noticed, and I eventually got to the like into the habit of just sticking my hands under the wheel and stopping it myself instead of, letting it continue to go on forever. Now, with your new wheels, and I'm super jealous about this, but with your new wheels, have you mentioned this earlier, but I don't think people actually really understood what it was. You've got a variable speed pedal, which makes it so that you can program the pedal to be you can make it stop as fast as you want. You can make it start as fast as you want. You can make it go as high, like to a certain speed or to a much less speed. So, for instance, right now I'm teaching my eight-year-old niece how to throw, and I had to stick a block of wood under the pedal so that she wouldn't shoot off to the moon because
yep.
it goes super fast, right? But she has no control, like she's like, "Oh, it goes fast. Let's go," you know? And if
Some
I if I could control that with the pedal and say like this is your top speed for right now, that would be really helpful. But also as a production person being able to make the wheel stop quickly at the specific speed that I want it to stop is really cool and something that no one has ever done. And I feel like potters, and I think this moves to people that make pottery tools because typically they are potters, are so stuck in 1990 like 5 that they can't it's just like, "Oh, why would we do that? If it's not broke, don't fix it." You
Yep,
know?
exactly. Yep,
And
exactly.
I think that that's why it's so cool that you're doing this because you're bringing a completely different like point of view to something that we've been just looking at for years, just staring at how the leaves change. Like that's it.
And the other companies could have done it. They this technology isn't new technology. It's been available. And I think there hasn't been any competition to push the manufacturers to come up with
Yeah.
anything. They've been on cruise control because what works, what works and what sells is they're fine, and any changes they make less
I mean, like you
because
said, the margins are probably tight, even at the price that they are.
Yeah.
Then
not
that
for them.
the R&D budget, it takes some time and risk and
Yep, a lot of red tape for them.
And I
So
mean, like,
yeah,
and we're not saying that other wheels are bad, obviously, because
right.
everybody has a place.
Well, and everybody's been told that this wheel or that wheel is good, and they're good for their own reasons, and some aren't good for the reasons that they're known to be good for. So
I remember throwing a VL Whisper and like the very first like the pedal was amazing. So like I love the Shimpo. So I wonder if the pedal like the stopping, because I remember that one stops on a dime. And Becca,
It does stop on a dime.
you're talking about like taking like are you talking your current one, is it like a half a rotation to stop kind of thing?
no, no.
No, the
So
pedal stops, but the wheel doesn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like once you stop the pedal, is it rotating another like
Five
90
times.
degrees maybe?
on the old one,
Yeah.
Yeah, the old one.
no, it spins and spins. I mean, it's
It
going
just
free with just all
spins.
that inertia. Yeah, I mean, it's just like the any DC. The Shimpo Whisper is also a brushless, but it's a direct drive, and that's why they don't have any torque. Um, so back to what we're doing with the speed. So it basically it's just an up and down arrow. So it's a time setting. So from stopped to full speed, it's a number. It's 1.2 seconds to accelerate. And then the decelerate is another number. It's 1 second, it's zero point 0.9, it's 8 tenths of a second. And that's what we're talking about. And that's what makes our wheels so versatile. And that it's not widely known of why this can benefit you. And so you don't have to grab the wheel every single time. And if you're doing hundreds of I mean, that will wear on your hand if you're trying to stop the wheel hundreds of times a day. It's another thing to be more efficient. It's another thing to take wear and tear off your body when you can tell the wheel with our new wheel that you want it to take. We can only go so fast because the energy has to go somewhere, but um, we can we could make it stop super duper fast, but I don't think anybody would want that because
No,
I mean
no.
we can make it stop fast enough where you're not waiting on it, and it's appropriate for a production potter, and on the opposite end of that spectrum, when you have a great big monster, we don't want it to take off for the races. We want it to be a slower, not so just sports car feel, and that's what we can do with the settings we have, and just be the ultimate versatility, or have the ultimate versatility to be perfect for whatever that situation might be.
Hmm.
What what do you think is your like do you have a goal for the company? Like what do you want in like 10 like have you thought about it like in 10 years? Like do you want more employees or do you want to get super big? Do you want to stay kind of small?
Want to
What's
sell
your
it?
like what's your ideal, I don't know, Bluebird Clay company?
Yeah, like the ultimate vision. I want to have the majority market share in all of our product lines. I want to have majority of of each market. I want to be the go-to.
You want to be the top? You want to be the Tower of Pisa? You
I
would like to
do.
be the Mona Lisa?
Uh-huh. Sure enough. Yeah, yeah, I don't that's just my personality type, and that's I'm not here to do a mediocre job. I'm not here to make mediocre equipment. I want to yeah, I want to be known as the best. I want to be known as the one to go for when quality counts.
Yeah.
I want to be that company.
Where's the where is the risk in the company when you've got those materials and you're shooting for that top? Like, are you more at risk with, material costs fluctuating and like, economy, like people might not have as much to spend. Like, how do you prepare for that kind of when you set that standard?
Yeah, and I think you can be the best at different price points. So for Becca's invention, uh, you know, we're gonna be the best micro machine,
Yeah. Oh, yes.
and we're gonna
Becca's
be
3-1 here, so
I'll
that's
edit them out. I'll edit them out.
that's pretty good. Yeah, it is tricky. It is tricky. But what we're doing is working, and um, I watch the market. So when I know it's going to be going up, I'll place stocking orders before it goes up, and you just got to be thrifty. So there was a place going out of business, and they had 6 sheets of stainless that we make our mixers out of, and I drove 30 minutes away and looked at this whole rack of metal, and I bought it was a couple hundred sheets of mixed variety stainless, and there was actually, I didn't know it, there's 2 sheets of titanium on this rack, and I bought a couple hundred sheets of stainless, and I bought the entire rack for what I would pay for 4 sheets of the mixer stainless.
wow.
And what I've done is I've sold sheets of stainless that I don't use for production, and basically have all that material for really low cost. So, I mean, that's the kind of things that I think to survive in small business is like you kind of got to get creative and understand that um, you got to do you got to do those kind of things. You got to
Hmm.
Scrappy.
with my yeah, absolutely. And with the machine shop business as well, we do take, we have a full machine shop, and we take job shop type work. So we're really versatile in the fact that we have plenty of avenues besides selling clay working machinery to make money, and you know so we'll be here. We're not going anywhere.
Hmm.
We got all kinds of ways to survive and keep rocking and rolling.
Is there a market for like tools? Like, would you all ever think about tools? I know that's like small scale because it's little individual items, but having tools that are not big machines, but and you've got the cutters and stuff. Like, is that kind of on the horizon potentially?
It could be. It's not something that I've put much thought into because, again, distributors asking us for pieces of equipment that we don't currently make. So if there's some item that they're having a hard time getting and it's back ordered and they might prefer to work with us, we will develop and send them products to test and see if it meets their what they were hoping for. So that's something that we're doing. Not, I don't think tools at this point, because with the new products that we're getting ready to launch, we're so busy with all that engineering right now that it's kind of hard to
That's
keep
a
adding
whole
more.
other world. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of competition in there and
yeah, and we're kind of staying. What we're efficient at and what we're really good at is metal manufacturing, fabrication. So those are the type of um, tools and equipment that we're good at.
mhm.
So um, extruders, slab rollers, that sort of furniture or equipment is what we're going to be hard to beat at.
Hmm. Okay.
Because um, that's what we're good at. That's what we have the capabilities to do.
Okay.
And then it just comes down to those relationships with distributors and dealers and that sort of thing.
Have there been anybody contact about like kiln building and stuff like that? Because I know there is some metal work involved in that side of it for, gas kilns and that kind of fabrication as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by gas kilns, just because um, it's not a. I mean, it's a piece of equipment. That's a serious investment. It's not a how cheap can we make it kind of item.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think
There's a
gas
lot of
kilns
angle irons though, so how do you feel about that?
are right. Yeah, we'll figure out how to get rid of it. It just seems like farmer way to build stuff. A farmer's going to build something. They can have a whole rack of angle and build anything.
Yeah.
That's just
Well, I mean, a lot of
and
that has to be done on site, I would suspect. I mean, you transport a big kiln, but there's probably limit like you can't take your whole machine shop, 4 hours away, but you know,
exactly.
how efficient is it?
And farmers they just have they can buy one thing and do it. Where I look at it as like, okay, well, there's a maybe there's a more uh refined or I love German engineering. That's my whole thing is I love German engineering. And I just don't see very many German engineered products with angle iron. So I think, you think like quality German engineering, you're like angle iron. Yeah, those guys, they rock
Those
that.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That angle iron.
I almost let one slip right there, Becca.
Wow, you're better than me. Hopefully we passed the grandma test. Well, Ryan did.
Yeah,
One,
sure. Oh,
one to your three. Well, I don't know.
One.
That was like a half. I don't know.
oh, we did great. We did great.
Yeah.
I've met your parents and I feel like they would approve.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. I've some of your podcast the comments, some people have mentioned the foul language, I think.
The expletives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Manners need a bit
that's a
refined kind of thing.
yeah, that's a trend from the beginning.
May-
So
Maybe we'll have to invite them back for
J
this
Dub
one.
J Dub 17. We know the name.
we know the names. Mostly now it's just personal
You're
aren't
cutting
good
out.
enough.
I didn't hear that. You said
That
now
was
it's just personal something.
I said now it's supposed to be Gmail telling me that I'm not good enough. I'm gone.
You're good. I could hear you. You said
Okay.
basically you're just getting emails that say you're not good enough because your manners, I guess.
I'm not ladylike enough.
we proved them all wrong today. You proved them all wrong today, Becca.
We
Yeah.
tried. We
You
sure
can do
tried.
it. You can do it when you need to.
I thought I'd do a lot better, honestly. I don't think I cussed a single word when I was at my parents' house,
Yeah. But you were
but
the you had a little time to get acquainted, so
that's true.
I have a question about the wheel. So I throw standing up. Do you have a lot of people that throw with your wheels standing up? Is there a limitation? Do you need the attach? Like, I feel bad now. I feel bad putting cinder blocks under my wheel to stand it up because I feel like that's not Jordan engineered enough.
Listen, there's a difference between potters and refiners. Okay, we're potters. We're farmers.
And
Okay.
and I'm just like, I'm not gonna pay for these extender legs that cost $300, but like, I
Right.
mean,
No, I get it. And we do, I mean, I do the same thing with things, you do what you do to in the moment to do it. But as far as, what I'm offering, I'm only going to offer the Jordan way.
but
But
do you have people that have do you make extenders if people want to do it standing up without putting it on top of cinder blocks?
For the P wheels, yes. We do and have sold long legs for the P wheel, and that's like the bigger, larger platform just because it's stable. Um, I haven't sold long legs for the S wheel because I'm afraid of some kiddo pulling the thing over on them. It
yeah,
would be heartbreaking to hear of some little toddler walking up and
Hmm.
pulling that wheel on him, and
Would you have to
I'm
have a
gonna.
base maybe, like a base on the floor so it could, well, I guess that would only do so much, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we could do make it a wider platform, kind of like I'm trying to think. I think the disability model Brent has
Brent
like it kind of comes down and then it kind of goes out a little bit.
out. Yeah, yeah. Because you also have to consider that this, like the S wheel. I don't know how much the S wheel weighs, but I mean, like these are heavy wheels. Like this is not a Brent. Like it. Yes, it would absolutely be catastrophic if a Brent fell over on a kid, but this wheel's twice the weight of a Brent,
The S
Yep.
probably.
wheels are?
Yeah.
It a- like a S wheel actually S wheel is lighter than like a CXC or a C.
Oh, then never mind. Okay, I'm just thinking about my wheel and how heavy my wheel is, and I've never owned an S wheel, so my bad.
Yeah, they're cast aluminum where a C or CXC is like a steel plate. So they're pretty darn heavy. Um, we just had a wheel go to a potter in Nebraska, and he goes to pick up the S wheel. I was like, "Whoa, this thing is light!" And I mean, it's probably 85, 90 pounds. So it's still gonna, yeah, it's still gonna hurt a little kiddo or a toddler, obviously.
Hmm.
But yeah, but the P wheel is a little over 100. So
Yeah, and
and
that's, I do see the legs. They have like this, they have the screws on it. So that comes and you can extend it on your own if you wanted to, or there's,
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, yep, yeah, and again, that's just a standard tube or pipe that you could go down to your metal supply and just have them cut you whatever length you need, and the feet would transfer right over, and if you had the ability to drill a hole, you'd have to weld a nut on it, but if you just get it the right height, it would sit all the way down and you wouldn't need to have a set screw in there.
okay. And I also throw with my pedal on top of I'm gonna say the platform.
Hmm.
So like
Table.
I use my hand for the pedal instead of my foot just because of the hip and getting stiff and stuff. It's
Sure.
just more
Do you,
mobile for me to do that.
what wheel do you have?
I have I have a Brent CXC and a Brent C.
Oh, okay.
Those are
Yeah.
the two ones that I use because I use a white clay body and a speckled clay body, so I just use each of those separately so I don't contaminate anything.
Sure. Sure.
But yeah, I've
How,
been throwing standing up for 3 years, 4 years maybe.
oh, cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. It probably um do you have and you just have those on cinder blocks to raise them up?
Cinder block, and then there's like a 2x4 to help raise it a little bit more. But yeah,
How
they do shift a little bit. Like Becca was
Oh
watching me
my
the other day.
God.
She was like, your wheel, your thing is about to slide off the thing. But
I was
I've never
so
had it fall
worried.
off. But
Sure. Yeah, I mean I could if you want to fix that, give me a call and we'll talk about it. I got some ideas. We can get you fixed up.
Yeah. I think I threw on Becca's old Soldner. So that was a little that
The
wasn't as
old
nice.
the old
So
Soldner is definitely it takes some getting used to for sure. Because it's got a wooden foot pedal that's connected to a bike chain that's connected to the motor. So,
and the pedal is not anchored, it's just hanging there.
Oh, geez.
So you have to just kind of like
yeah,
get one part of the wood flat, but it's free hanging, so
That's wild.
you just gotta kind of anchor your heel on it and then push it. But it's a little
Maintain.
weird.
yeah.
Is it maintained? So if you take your foot off, it continues, or you have to keep your foot on
No,
to keep speed.
you have to keep your foot on it. And I would have kept it forever, but I have a bum ankle in my right foot. And so it I had to have a different pedal. So, that's why I had the wheel. Yeah. So I'll send you a picture of it right now, actually. Oh, well, you're on your phone, so it doesn't matter, but I'll send it to you anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it's a pretty
yeah,
stressful wheel I think that's the most stressed I've had, like trying to
You're
throw
like,
on this thing. But
yeah,
wow. All
it's
right.
hard.
definitely for a very specific human being, you know.
Sure. Yep. Well, I think we should let people know if they want to gain information about Soldner and Soldner pottery wheels that there are a couple groups. There's a Facebook group called Soldner. Well, it's actually Bluebird and Soldner pottery wheels. There's a ton of people that are Soldner owners, and that's a good community to learn about Soldner and what we're about and who the people are that are using them and why they love them so much. So I think that's another good avenue for people to gain information.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Becca, do you have a fun final question that you can think of for Jordan?
If you were to create a wheel for yourself or a pug mill or whatever, what color would you choose?
What color would I choose? Well, that's kind of what the green is. That's kind of what that sage green is.
Oh, that was a lame question then. It really was. I should have thought of that.
You should have said what color would your wife choose?
What
What color would your wife choose? I don't know. I don't know what she would choose. Do you know what color my son would choose? That
what
awesome purple.
that was that for your son?
Yeah, that's Owen's wheel. Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
So is he learning?
we did another one. We saw the color and we did another one.
Oh, so is he learning pottery?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
It's
What
at the
purple
shop.
one?
We have we don't have any pictures of it. We had one, it's gone, and then Owen had to have that purple, so he's psyched.
I think I have
Oh,
one picture of it. I
I was kind
might.
of looking through your Instagram to see if I could see something, but
No, it was like a custom, and it was like it. I'm gonna try to describe this purple. It looked blue inside, and then when you took it outside, it was like, oh, it was like when you see like a car that is custom painted, and that purple like shows up when the sun hits it. That's the purple. It's like a deep but bright fuchsia purple.
mm,
Yep.
Did I describe that well enough? Here, I've
Yep.
got it.
It's illusion purple. So that was fun. Um, I kind of, yeah, I don't know. Well, the fun thing about
Pottery.
what's that?
Oh, sorry. I said, are you thinking about learning how to do pottery?
I might be secretly learning how to do pottery and just blow everybody's minds when I start making things. I'm
Sweet.
going to be a closet potter until I'm at NCECA next year and somebody says, well, you want to throw a pot? And I'll be like, I don't know how to do this. Boom.
Danny Meisiger just, yeah.
And then he brings out all the metal pieces for everything. He's just like, how can Jordan over-engineer making pottery as well?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I got my hands full at the moment.
We should probably wrap up, mostly because I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes because it is officially dark.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
But also I wanted to tell you guys that I'm at the I'm at Beale Potter. I'm up in northern Indiana, and they have just a field, and the lightning bugs, it makes it look like the field is sparkling.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so cool.
And that's one that you can't really take a video and have the same experience, like you have to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I took a video last night for Ryan, and I'm sure it did not translate
Yeah,
as
it
well
didn't
as it.
look that great. I saw little twinkles, but I was like, okay, is the video longer? Because I didn't really see much, but that's how it goes.
Yeah. That's how it
Well, it's
goes.
been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on, guys. It's been fun, and thanks for listening and all that.
Yeah, so website is bluebirdclay.com.
Yep.
Y'all are on Instagram, bluebird_clay. Are you like in the some of the Facebook groups and seeing and commenting on some of the questions people have?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the Soldner group, and then what's the Clay Buddies? I'm in there. I'm in a lot of the studio equipment and that sort of related um
Yeah.
Facebook groups. I I kind of stick to the Facebook groups, and that's kind of where most of my presence is. I don't really understand the whole Instagram thing.
Mm.
So
Oh, I do
I,
see the purple on the Facebook page, your all's Facebook page. Is it it's like a shiny purple clay? It looks like a body of the wheel.
yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
I sent you
Wow.
a text of it, Ryan.
Oh, well, my text is on silent, so I don't get disturbed. But yeah, I see it. That looks nice.
It's probably a better picture than the one I took. It was pretty wild. It
Very
was a great
nice.
purple.
Well, yeah, Jordan, we appreciate it. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining
thank
us,
you so much.
giving us some of those insights. I know there's talking to the folks that are like in the know with the companies is a totally different side of it than just, hey, what do you do and how do you make stuff? Like,
Sure.
hey, you make the things that we rely on to produce our work. So, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody out there wants to chat and has questions, give me a call. The phone number's on the website. Anytime you want to chat or have ideas or questions, give me a call. I'll answer the phone and we'll figure it out.
Sweet. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.